Cool. Hey, Alex.
What's up, bro?
Thanks for joining me on this. I've been looking forward to it, and hopefully we could share some insight with everybody. But before we get started, I wanted to ask you, who is Alex Hollander?
Oh, great. It's a great question. Who is Al? I don't even know who Alex Hollander is, to be honest with you. Yeah, I'm Alex Hollander. I'm a real estate professional. Uh, like playing basketball. No, I'm just joking. Yeah, They call me the face of SCV real estate, and I self-appointed that to myself. So I'm a realtor. I work Santa Clarita. That's the area that I live, raise my kids in, hyper focus in that neighborhood. One of my goals is to be the go-to real estate agent in Santa Clarita for everyone. So right now I'm super obsessed with like being the top agent out there. I'm 2 years into the business, and I know I'm probably like 5 years away from like being where I want to be in terms of like being the top producing agent out there. So in a nutshell, as far as real estate's concerned, that's who I am.
Nice. And what about outside of real estate?
Yeah, outside of real estate, I'm a father. I got 4 kids, all girls. I'm a husband. I got an amazing wife. She's my transaction coordinator. She works with a bunch of other realtors as well. She's kind of like my secret weapon, when it comes to deals and stuff. Any situation in real estate that I've never encountered, she has. So I like working with her. It's good to have her on board. But other than that, I'm an avid Clipper fan. Like I said, I watch a lot of basketball. Very involved in the community. Just an average dude, just out here trying to make a way for myself.
Any way we could change that to being a Laker fan, or?
A lot of people have tried, man. A lot of people have tried. I was a Clipper fan even before like the Clippers were decent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like pre-Blake Griffin era. And the reason why I like the Clippers is because they're kind of like the everyday man. Like they had a couple years ago they had this really cool I guess like campaign where it was like the Lakers are the lights in the show, but we're the streets. And I was like, hell yeah, that's dope. I love that.
Okay.
Like that's cool. Like you Laker fans could call us the little brothers or whatever, but like you guys are the Showtime, primetime, whatever you call yourselves. We're the streets.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. When you're not, you kind of mentioned a little bit, but when you're not doing real estate, right? You're not working. What do you like to do? Like, what are you normally doing on your off time?
Yeah, I've gone through a lot of eras, a lot of phases.
Yeah.
Me and my kids were just talking about how I've been through so many phases over the last like 4 years. I do like a lot of outdoor stuff. So, I have a Lexus GX, which is kind of like a soccer mom SUV, but I've outfitted it to like off-road and stuff.
Yeah.
So we like taking that to like random like places and camping and doing things like that. We have a trailer too, so we'll take that out. So I love camping. I love getting my kids out there and getting them dirty and,
Cool.
So that's one thing. But I like just community events, like we spend a lot of time, my wife and I go out with our friends. We'll do local things. It's a little bit of business, but a lot of pleasure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To be out in the community and doing things like that. So right now, that's where I'm at in life. Just doing that. My kids are a little older, so we can go and have a good time every once in a while.
Cool. I wanted to ask you, why real estate? Why are you a realtor?
Yeah, man, that's a really good question. Prior to real estate, I was a pastor of a church.
Mm-hmm.
So I was working at Shepherd Church. On staff there. I did that for about 4 years, but before that, for 10 years, I was a property manager. Not a property manager, but I was like the operations manager for a property management company. So I have 10 years of like pseudo real estate experience dealing with clients,
Right.
Inspectors, dealing with properties, right? My wife was a TC, and when during COVID, I got let go of my position, got eliminated because of funding and things like that. So I was sitting in my house during COVID, and I'm like listening to my wife talk to these agents and, doing all these transactions. And she's like a high volume real estate professional. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, man, I would be really good on the other side of that phone, right? Like all of the problems that you have, I would be really good at solving those problems. And she's like, you actually would be really good at this job. So right then and there, I was like, let me get my license. Took me 90 days, took the courses in 90 days, breezed through that. Got my license, and actually 2 years ago today was like the first day that I parked my license at Century 21. So to the day today. So it's been exactly 24 months since I've been an agent.
Wow.
Yeah.
And within the past 24 months, I think you made a pretty good presence of yourself, especially in the Santa Clarita Valley. So you kept bringing up your wife. For those that are working with their wives or their significant other, how is it working with your wife?
Yeah, it's like I don't work with her in a sense like she's my wife. So when we first started the idea, when I first started 24 months ago, the idea was like, oh, this is perfect. Like, I know I'm gonna kill it. You could be my assistant, or like, like we can be a team, basically.
Yeah.
That's what we went into it being like we could be a team. Literally like 2 months in, like one transaction in, and it was like, nah, we're not a team. Like we can't, like, we're not doing this. We would argue about whatever, and I think I know everything. She really does know everything. So it's like, there was a lot of clashing. So we very early on decided, all right, you have your own business. Cornerstone Transactions, that's you, Amanda. Real estate, that's me, and we operate completely independent. So she's just like every other TC with me. It's not like she does anything special for me outside of what she does with the other clients.
Yeah.
In fact, there are other agents that she works with that actually pay her a little more because she does a lot more for them.
Yeah.
I'm just very hands-on. I want to do things my way.
Sure.
But she's a vendor of mine.
So you don't really look at it as, when it's business, you guys keep it business, and when it's outside of work and you guys are home, then it's more.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. We don't talk about business. It's funny, a lot of my friends in the industry, like peers, they use her for transaction stuff, and sometimes they'll ask me or they'll come to me and be like, hey, did you hear about this? I'm like, I got no idea what you're talking about. like we don't talk about business at all. It's just we got kids and a life, and she has her office, I got mine, and we just plug away and do our thing. At
first, was it easy to just like get sucked into it and just talk about business all the time?
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I mean, if I think I talk about business more than she does.
Yeah.
If I have a difficult client, or maybe not a difficult client, but like a difficult transaction, or an agent on the other side of the deal is just being a jerk. Like, I'll vent a little bit. She doesn't vent too much because hers is very like transactional.
Right.
But if she ever does, like I'm there to listen. So in the beginning, we did talk about it a lot, especially our deals together. But also I was very consumed early on with like, when you get your first deal, it's like a baby. You know what I mean?
100%.
And you're just like, oh, you got to make sure everything's perfect. And eventually you learn how to just like automate things. And after like the third or fourth deal, they weren't babies anymore. It's like having your fourth kid. Like you just let them do whatever. It really, and and as long as you hit all your checkpoints and you're on top of things, you're fine. So we're not as micromanagey anymore, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
One of the things I wanted to bring up, and you kind of already brought it up, I think when it comes to marketing, you're an animal when it comes to promoting yourself as the Santa Clarita Valley agent. Right. And I'm sure you work other areas, like if clients ask you like, hey, I want to buy a home here, like I'm sure you're not going to decline it,
right,
but you market yourself pretty well at that. So what would you say catapulted you to be able to do that a lot quicker compared to other people? Was it just a consistency? Was it like different strategic moves or?
Yeah, that's a great question. I feel like the first year of me doing real estate, I really kind of formulated a game plan. And I learned from other people, right?
Yeah.
And what I notice is that there's no saturation for agents. They kind of go with the wind. Their marketing is not pinpoint precise. It's just like, they just let it out and it goes wherever, right? And I think about businesses and successful businesses and how they saturate the market. Like they know who their target audience is, and they just execute on those people. Right?
Yeah.
And I realized that early on, and I was like, you know what? I live in this area, Santa Clarita. It is a small town. It's a huge city. It's like the third largest city in Los Angeles County. But if you go there, it feels like a small town. There's 5 high schools. Everybody knows each other in those 5 high schools, right? So knowing that, I knew like if I saturate this area, I have a really high probability of getting market share here. So every dollar in marketing spend is like targeted to that area. So you're not going to see like my ads in Burbank or in Granada Hills. You're only going to see my content in Santa Clarita for a reason. It's like the same concept of like geographical farming.
Yeah.
Right. You don't go out and take like a 2,000 home farm because it's impossible to like convert. But if you take like a 300 home farm and you saturate those 300 homes, those 300 people are going to know you within 2 months. So that was the same concept when it came to like marketing and media. I just took geo farming, which I learned from like seasoned old school agents, right? I took that geofarming concept and I applied it to social media. That's basically what I did.
Cool. So you already have that area, and on top of geo farming,
Yeah,
you're also doing. Got it.
and I think that's the key, right? Like, it's like the Tom Ferry versus Mike Ferry concept. I don't know if you're familiar, but like Mike Ferry's older. He's probably like 147 years old,
Yeah.
and then he's not really that old, but
Yeah, yeah.
Tom Ferry is like my age, I guess, or maybe younger. That's his son, and it almost seems like they're pitted against each other. Old school versus new school, like like old door knocking versus social media.
Do you think that's a strategy?
Oh,
of
yeah. You're either one or the other, right?
Yeah.
But what I feel is like if you can like toe the line right in the middle and be old school and new school, or I like to call it the middle child,
Yeah.
Concept, or like, be the, be cool enough to be like friends with the young people, but like also be business enough to like get the older, if you can be the middle child, you'll be solid. And that's kind of where I strive to be.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people. I think it's kind of like what you're saying. A lot of people are either one or the other, but I rarely see people who are actually doing both. And I feel like for those that are actually doing both, they're probably lacking on one side. So, for example, maybe the older generation. Again, I could be wrong, but this is based on what I've seen. Is the older generation, they focus more on postcards, door knocking, and again, nothing wrong with that. It works. I'm not saying it doesn't, but when they get into social media, they're not as savvy.
Right.
And I feel like you're able to do both because I've seen you, especially through your stories, where you have like your door knocking because you post your lifestyle and everything that you do. I'll see you put hangers and you're working, but I'll also see you everywhere on social media.
Yeah.
Like I'll see you on TikTok, I'll see you on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I think I've even seen you on ads too.
You definitely have. And very soon you'll see me on billboards and shopping carts in Santa Clarita if you go out there.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, we're trying to saturate that area for sure. But it goes a long way, man. I mean, like what you're saying is key, not only on a consumer-facing thing, like trying to get buyers and sellers, but on a respect level with agents.
Right.
Because there's two levels to like this business, right? Obviously, you want to focus on generating new business, and that's buyers and sellers.
Correct.
Let's say you get the buyers, right? And then you walk into a territory, an area where you're trying to submit offers on homes, and none of these agents know who you are. You're a big question mark. Your lender's a big question mark. You're just another number submitting an offer, right? Your probability of getting your offer accepted is really low, and it's basically just a numbers game. Like how high can you go with your offer, right?
Yeah.
But because of what you said, these other agents see that I'm hustling on the old school techniques, but I got the new school techniques. So they see like I'm not really slacking in those categories, and they remember and they know my name. When it comes to Santa Clarita, I step to the table with an offer. I have a much higher chance of getting my offer accepted in that area because these agents know who I am.
Yeah.
I'm a familiar face to not only clients but to agents, and I'm not a jerk to agents. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'm trying to be friends with them, collaborate, build, and it goes a long way to getting offers accepted. And I have a really high success rate when we submit offers.
Yeah, and I think you're right. Like, I've seen that before where maybe the agent knows, like you said, the agent knows the listing agent, or maybe I know the listing agent, and it's like it's easier to build. Okay, like I know them, like whatever, we're gonna close, or compared to like you said, like not knowing who either one are,
Right.
the lender or the realtor. So I do think that goes a long way. We kind of talked about it earlier, not in the video, but what are your thoughts on AI and how that would disrupt marketing and the real estate industry?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a catch-22, right? Because there's professionals.
Yeah.
Like my boy over here who's filming us. Like, there's professionals who, like, AI very well could come in and kind of take concepts or parts of what they do and what they're good at, right?
Yeah.
But it's the same thing for us. Like, me and you are professionals, too. And there's AI-generated, like, loan processing things, right? There's AI-generated, like, I don't know if it's there yet, but, I mean, there possibly could be AI-generated realtors at some point, right?
Yeah.
So in that regard, it is a catch-22. The better the technology, obviously the more, antiquated we become, and we just have to be better at what we do. But on the flip side of things, it makes the job a lot easier. Like a lot of my social media content is AI generated. I know a lot of agents who literally, they don't write anything anymore. They just,
Oh, that part's easy.
Yeah.
It's
Hey,
fun.
ChatGPT, can you write a property description in a Southern slang. I'm a 22-year-old realtor from, Connecticut, and it'll like take all of that all of that background info and spit something out. It's pretty crazy.
Not only that, but I was kind of messing with it. Not ChatGPT per se, but it was AI. It was through a different website where it could actually make logos.
Sweet. That's crazy.
From scratch. You tell it what you do, what your profession is, what colors you like. You pick the colors. And it'll ask you a little bit, like some questions, like what type of person are you? And it tries to fit your personality. And I was just messing with it. And I kept clicking it, and there was a whole bunch of logos made in seconds.
Damn, that's wild.
Yeah. And I was reading somewhere that now you could use AI to build websites. So it's crazy how much it's disrupting right now.
Yeah. Like I said, all the content that we've been putting out is literally like AI generated. Like from the images that get splashed on the screen, the captions, everything is AI generated. It's just only going to get better.
Yeah. It's just crazy to think like how far it's going to go and how much it's going to disrupt. But I think with anything, right, you just kind of have to adapt.
Yeah. I honestly, I'll be honest with you, like I'm actually an AI robot. Imagine though, like one day we're just like talking to somebody like a minute, like
dude, they're not that far off. They're trying to do something similar to that. What's that movie called? I Robot with Will Smith. Something similar to that where you could have a robot do things for you.
No, okay, dude. So it's not doing things, but the broker of Century 21 Plaza, where I work, where we're at right now. His name's Jorge Campos. So his social media content is literally an AI robot.
I think you're telling me about that.
Yeah, like he types in like what he wants it to say, and it's him talking, and it like has his voice and everything, and it's a little glitchy, like, but it gets better over time, right? And I'm like, damn, this is crazy, man. It's just the stuff that could happen, And he's like, I love it because like I hate being on camera. I don't want to film content all the time, so I just, he does this little like morning update every day, and he just types it in. It's pretty funny, but it's cool,
And people think it's him, but it's actually not.
Yeah, I mean, if you know and you watch it, you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
That's not him.
It's a little stiff, but it's still pretty cool.
Yeah, I think we came a long way in a short period of time too. Within like the past year, like AI well, I'm sure it existed, but it wasn't out to the public.
Didn't it launch like in March?
I think it launched in March or February of this year, but I don't think it was out to the public before. Like, for example, I know you ever go on Google and it's like before it lets you move forward, it'll say click everything of a stop sign.
Oh yeah.
And you click it. So I was reading somewhere that is part of artificial intelligence that Google is using. We don't know what they're trying to build, but basically you're feeding the information. So that's all AI is. Like the more information you feed it, the smarter it gets.
Right. Yeah.
Again, I don't know what they're using it for, but that's pretty much what they were doing.
I will say that like in our business, you probably see it a lot too. Like there's a lot people prey on us.
Yeah.
They like people prey on realtors, people prey on lenders. Just like I think the buyer sellers, they probably think like we prey on them.
Yeah.
But like we get preyed on a lot too. So what I'm seeing a lot of right now is like these like paid trainings where you can learn how to use AI, and I'm like, dude, you don't like the people teaching some of these courses.
It just came out. How are you like
even like social media, like people like social media coaches and stuff. I'm like, what the like how are you training people how to do social media and your social media is terrible? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's like wild to me that's like
a thing.
Yeah, and it's like it's kind of all over this industry where people are just trying to gouge us for stuff.
I think people think that it's easy money. We make a lot of money by not doing that much work, and it's like, okay, these people can probably afford it.
Let them try.
Yeah,
that's all I gotta say. The success rate is literally like 2% in this business, man. Like it's only the strong survive, and only the good ones kind of make it past that third or fourth year. This is not an easy business, and you know it. I know it.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
Now that we're kind of talking about that, I want to hear, what was your story when you started in the business? Was it like you just kind of got lucky where you got a referral from a client, or you just had to work your way to the top? Or
Yeah. I'll be careful how I say this because I don't want to like burn bridges and stuff. But when I got in the business, I was working with an agent, like another agent that I know, and she was paying for Redfin leads, and she didn't like chasing them down, right? So she's like, hey, if you want to, I was an independent agent, but like, she's like, if you want to take these, I'll split them with you 50-50.
Yeah.
I was like, cool. So the first one she gave me, I went and got them in the escrow like quick. Like I think it was first 30 days.
What year was this, by the way?
It was when it was tough to get offers accepted. It was 2021.
Okay.
Yeah, this time 2021. So it was like multiple offers.
Right.
But we got them into escrow pretty quick, and I was like, damn, this is easy, But through that escrow process, a lot of like weird things were happening with the agent that was like mentoring me, and I was like, oh, this is not how I want to like do business. Like I don't want to be. This is not how I want to learn. You know what I mean? Like going in this, I want to make sure I do this the right way, And so quickly, I was like, so we moved. I split ways with that. Just one transaction, and then I got a listing in Palmdale, and so that was like my second one was that, and then like a land deal, and then just like whatever, they just started coming my way. But the crazy part is like, I worked at a church. I knew this is a mega church. It's not like a little church. It's like thousands and thousands of people. Not once have I closed a deal with anybody from the church that I pastored, right? SOI.
To this day?
To this day, bro. Like SOI, they say when you get into this business, like, oh, work your sphere, which it probably works for some people. I don't know. I mean, I just feel like nobody wants to work with you if they know you're brand new in this business. Like, who wants to hand you the keys to like their huge purchase? You know what I mean? Like, or their sale. So that is one of the reasons why I was like so obsessed with social media, is because I was like, you know what? These people don't want to work with me. Like my friends and family are buying with other people. Like this is wild. I was pissed. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna show them that I'm gonna kill it. And so I just went overboard trying to work with people and document everything. And it wasn't until this past year, like 2022, towards the end, where people I know were like giving me props, like saying like, damn, dude, you're killing it. And it's just social media. But SOI and all that, like, I don't know if it's the best move if you just get into business.
I didn't really get too much of that.
You were the opposite?
No. Like, I didn't really get that many friends or family that were actually helping me. I actually only got one uncle that helped me. And a lot of people think, oh, you're a lender, you joined at the right time, you probably made all this money.
Oh, because of refinances?
The whole refinance. Everyone already had their lenders. Everyone already had their relationships. My uncle gave me a shot. I'll never forget it, and I'm so thankful for it. But my uncle gave me a shot. He was my first client. Everyone else was like, no. Like I had other family members that refinanced through Wells Fargo, the bank, or whatever, right? And my uncle was like, he gave me a shot. I remember I made a whopping $5,500 that entire year.
Wow. Okay.
Because I quit my job. I used to do SEO, search engine optimization, at this marketing place out in Simi Valley. And I was like, you know what? Like a 9 to 5 isn't for me. I feel like if I could work my ass off and just put everything into my craft, I feel like it'll pay back in dividends. First year I only made like $5,500, and that was because my uncle supported me. And after that, I don't think I've ever had another family member or friend support me.
It's wild, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy, man.
And you would think those are the first people.
Nah, not at all, dude.
Yeah.
And when you get into a brokerage as a realtor, that's the first thing they train you. Is like, I remember coming into the brokerage, I was interviewing brokers, even though I knew I was going to come to Century 20, I was interviewing just to kind of see.
Yeah.
And every single one of the brokers did the same damn presentation. They're like, how many contacts do you have on your phone? I'm like, I don't know. I was like, check. So I'm like, all right. So I show them my contacts, and let's just say there were 1,400 contacts. They're like, that's 700 transactions right there. And I'm like, really? It's that easy, huh? Like the same thing, all of them, like 3 different brokers did the same thing. Like, that's crazy that it's that easy, and there's proof. Like the SOI I think it works when you build your business.
Yeah.
Like when I could see myself in like 5 years, everybody that purchased a home with me in 2021, 2022, 2023, I could see them selling with me, and that's my SOI.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, those first people, it's just.
Would you say now that you kind of have that reputation, that brand, that your family members and friends would now kind of follow you?
Yeah, now for sure. Now that was the goal, was like, okay, now they know, and now I'm ballsy enough to, like, if they use somebody else, I'll be like, what are you doing? Why are you using someone else?
Yeah.
And whatever. I understand too, like, some people think, I think on the finance side, some people are like, I don't really want like my friend to know what I make, what I spend, or whatever. So that's on you, bro. You can talk to me. But like for me on the realtor side, I don't look at your finances. Like, just so you guys know, if you're watching this, like if you use me as your realtor, I literally take all your financial stuff, don't look at it, and I hand it to my lender.
Yeah.
Because I don't touch that. I'm not a numbers guy. I'm a people person. I'm gonna fight for your offer to get accepted, and I'm gonna work through to make sure your transaction's smooth. But I stick to my strengths, and numbers are not my strength. I hand that to my lenders. Why I work with good lenders.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think that's probably why, maybe, I don't know, why I probably don't really get that much family members and friends that work with me because of that reason. But I don't know. I think they think like I'm gonna be like, oh wow, they're only making, or wow, they have so much.
Right.
No, and it's not like that. Like I want to help.
Right.
Right. At the end of the day, like there's a goal to achieve. Right. Whether it's an investment property, a home, let's work together so we could help you get there.
Yeah. And it's crazy because a good lender and a good realtor are gonna save you money.
Yeah.
All day. Like it's just it is a really important choice. Like make sure you know who you're choosing to do these things for you, because everything we just said, man, I'm gonna be honest, like it's probably not in your best interest to just give a deal to your cousin or like your friend if they're not good. You gotta like really kind of vet who they are and what they do. So it's kind of like again a catch-22. Like how do they know you're good if you haven't done any deals? So you gotta
Yeah. So I see both sides.
Yeah. I will tell you one thing though. The first time a friend used me for a transaction, it's like a newer-ish friend, like probably knew them about 6 months, lived on my street, got really close, come to my house, I'd go to their house, and I hope they're not watching, but they're the only people who try to take advantage of me, like on the commission, on like asking for kickbacks on the back end. Actually, I hope they're watching. I hope you hear this. Like they bounced to another state, sold their house. I'm grateful for them giving me the business, but like they literally bounced, left the house like a mess. I had to like deal with the pool, deal with the landscaping out of my own pocket. Like, you know what I'm saying? To get the deal together. And then on the back, like when the transaction was done, they had the audacity to ask me like for kickback. Like, oh, can you, we gave you the business. Could you kick us back with like, we know I double-ended that deal. And that's the only reason the house sold, because they were asking for a super high amount, and I actually was able to bring a buyer to the table. And then because I double-ended it, and for those listening, double-end just means that I represented the buyer and the seller. Because I double-ended that, they're like, you made a lot more money, can you kick us down with some? And I was just like, man, like.
If it wasn't for you, it wouldn't have gone sold.
It would have got sold, but not for what we sold it for. You know what I mean? We got you what you asked for. It was like probably $30K over, what it should have been, and. Yeah, dude, it's just, working with people, sometimes it can be rough.
Again, I think it goes back to, I think they think we make all this money and it just comes in like this. Mm-hmm. That's like, oh, they could afford it.
Yeah.
So, but it's ridiculous. Let's talk about the elephant in the room.
What is it?
The interest rates.
Oh, I love interest rates.
So today is, what's today's date? August 17th, 2023. Mm-hmm. With today's interest rates, should people buy and or sell, and if so, why or why not?
Yeah, I mean, regardless of what the interest rate is, I think people should buy if they want to buy. Like if they're in a position to buy, right? That's like a nuanced thing, and like I think a lot of us sit here, agents at least, we're gonna go on social media, and one thing they tell you in the business is it's always a good time to buy. And I guess so. I mean, prices historically in California, where we sell homes, have always gone up. There's been like one time in history where the prices have dipped significantly, right?
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I always tell people this when we have this conversation. If you're a consumer, right, a purchaser, when they talk about interest rates, I say, okay, what do you think is going to happen if the interest rates go down? Because they're like, I'm waiting for the prices to go down before I buy. Right, they're usually not talking about interest rates; they're just talking about the price.
Right.
And I was like, okay, yeah, it's tough right now because of rates, blah blah blah. But what do you think will happen when the rates drop? And I let them think about it, and if they're smart enough, they're gonna be like, well, the prices will go up. And I was like, so what are you waiting for? You know what I mean? Like, you gotta kind of pick and choose what you want to do. Either way, it's expensive. Either way, it's gonna be a struggle. But it just gets more expensive as time goes by.
100%.
That's it. That's the gist of it. Like, if you understand that, like, regardless of what I'm paying now, it's going to be more in 5 years or more in 3 years, that should answer your question.
Yeah. I tell clients same thing pretty much, but depending which avenue they're going, whether it's investment or their primary residence, if they're going the investment route, I tell them, like, look, at the end of the day, you have to take the emotions out of it. you have to look at the numbers. What are you paying on the mortgage and what are you making on a monthly basis?
Mm-hmm.
Does the numbers make sense?
Right.
Even on a good market, prices were low and interest rates were low. If the markets are bad, if the rents are bad, it still doesn't make sense.
Right.
Because you're still going to be negative cash flow month over month. So at the end of the day, for the investment standpoint, you have to look at the cash flow. From a consumer standpoint, as an owner occupied, do you feel comfortable with this monthly payment? Right? Forget about the rate, forget about the price, just the monthly payment. Do you feel comfortable with this? Because this is going to be your ceiling.
Yeah.
It's not going to go higher than that. The only thing that can happen is that rates get better and you could refinance.
Sure.
So I feel like if you're okay with it, then at the end of the day, it's your call. If you want to move forward, then you should.
Yeah, no, for sure. I have a question for you. I mean,
Sure.
I've been having this conversation lately with a lot of my peers and stuff. Is like 2021, the end of 2021. Let's just say 2022, all of 2022.
Sure.
Okay. Well, the conversation was what? Buy now with a high rate because it's a little easier, a little more flexible. Your offers are getting accepted early 2022, right?
Yeah.
We can probably get you a 2-for-1 buy down. Buy your rate down a little bit. That was the conversation. Buy now because it's flexible and we can bring your rate down a bit. We can pay to get your rate down for a year or two.
Right.
So here we are, 14 months later, and the rates are still high. Everybody who bought a year and a half ago with the concept of I'm gonna just hold down the fort, pay an extremely high amount every single month, and eventually the rate will drop. A lot of them are coming up on that 2-for-1 buy down, and the rate's about to go back to wherever it was, right?
Yeah.
So what do you think about that, man? Because I'll tell you what I think after, but what's your game plan with that thought process? Keep in mind too, oh, by the way, just to throw one more caveat to make it even more difficult, right? A lot of them did not, what's it called when you lump in your property tax?
The escrows did not, they waived the escrows.
Not the escrows, but you pay monthly property tax or annual property tax. A lot of people who bought in 2022, they ended up
not putting it in the mortgage, right?
Yeah, not putting it in the mortgage to keep their monthly down, and then they were going to pay like a lump sum at the end of the year, right?
Yeah, they waived their escrows.
Right. So now that tax fee is coming in, that tax is due, right? So not only do they have high mortgage monthly payments, but now they have this lump sum that they got to pay on top of that.
Yeah. So to answer your question, are you asking me if rates are going to continue to go up, or are you asking me what do I think about that scenario with the 2-1 buy down
Both.
a year ago?
Both, yeah.
So to answer the question about the 2-1 buy down a year ago, again, I would always tell, if I was in that situation, I would tell them, look, this is the highest monthly payment you're going to pay. Are you comfortable with this? Right? The 2-1 buy down, that's just a cherry on top. Cool. But let's just pretend rates continue to go up and you don't get that. Are you cool with this payment? And if the answer is yes, cool, let's move forward.
That's good.
If you don't feel comfortable, then this isn't for you. Right? Because at the end of the day, I don't want to get a call. You don't want to get a call. Hey, you promised me rates are going to come down 2 years ago. 2 years from when I bought my house, rates are still going up, and now I'm stuck with this payment. I can't afford it. I don't want to get that. So I'm totally transparent where if you're okay with the highest, whatever that highest number is going to be, then this is for you.
Sweet. So that transparency is important, right?
100%.
And it's important that if you're watching this, whoever you work with is transparent about that. If they don't tell you that final number,
Yeah.
they're hiding things. You know what I mean? And so you answered that the right way, for sure.
And to answer your question, what do I think if rates are going to continue to go up? Well, today we just had a gnarly rate hike. The 10-year right now is at a 4.3. Pretty much for those watching, the 10-year bond, it has a correlation with the interest rates. And anyways, so before, just to give you a perspective, when rates were going FHA like a 5.5, I want to say that the 10-year was at a 3.5, 3.4 more or less, right? So now we're almost a point higher than that. Yeah. So just to kind of put things into perspective, but I think, just to be honest, I thought by now rates would have gone down a little bit, or at least kind of cooled off, but they keep going up. I have a feeling it's going to keep going up.
Yeah, I feel like 2024 third quarter is more realistic.
I'm thinking second quarter.
Okay. I mean, it's close.
Yeah.
Close. One of the strategies right now, I mean, on the real estate side, is I have a list of everybody with a 6% or higher rate,
Yeah.
and whether you purchased a year ago or 6 months ago, I think a lot of people were lied to about that 2-for-1 buy down, or maybe not lied to, but just like they didn't get all the details right.
Yeah.
They were fed a little bit of a dream, and I think it's important to people watching, like especially social media people, like don't believe everything you hear on social media.
100%.
Right? Because what us realtors do is whatever the hot topic is of that season or that month, everybody's just parroting each other, right? So like some special program comes out, some special strategy comes out, one person will say it and then 50,000 other realtors are going to say it too, but they don't really understand. They're just saying it because the last guy said it, right? It's not a whole lot of like innovative, educational people out there, right? So it's really, 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 really important that you know who you're working with and that they know what they're doing, right? So what I'm doing right now is I'm calling all of these 6%ers, 6% rate people.
Yeah.
And just saying like, hey man, you've been paying a high monthly mortgage for a year and a half now, can you afford it? Like, are you good? Because probably not good. You thought you were going to get a lower rate at this point, right? And if you're not good, you got some equity, like we should, think about, if you're paying $6,000 a month and rent is $3,000, like, why don't you just pull the money out, hold on to it, wait until the rates are better, and trying to figure out ways to bring more inventory to the market, right?
Yeah.
Because more inventory is also a big factor.
100%. It's just supply demand with anything. If there's limited supply and there's a lot more demand that surpasses that supply, then it's prices of whatever product that is just going to go up.
Right. So at the end of the day, it's not about like getting more sales. It's about like helping people. Like, does it make sense for you to hold on to that $6,000 a month payment? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like do the math, introduce you to a lender who can help you with the math. Like, let's really look at like the year to year, for the first 3 years, the first 5 years, the first 10 years, like what's that going to look like? And are you negative or positive? And was it a smart idea to buy last year? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things. Like,
and what are those clients telling you?
So I get mixed responses, right? Some people are like, I'm just going to hold on to it. I had one guy yesterday who was just like bad mouthing his realtor. And I was like, well, it's not really about the realtor. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just about the information and where you're at, So if you're asking if I've converted anybody to try to sell, that hasn't happened. But just like having those conversations, because I do think that there are people who are in a bad situation right now, man. Like it's $6,000 a month. It's a lot of money, dude.
And it's not just a monthly payment. It's you have everything. Gas prices. I mean, I forgot what I was telling this to. I personally, I don't look at the price of gas because I have to fill it up. I have to go to where I need to go.
Right.
And another day I was pumping gas and I looked, I'm like, shoot, gas is like higher than $5. Mm-hmm. I think $5.30, something like that. Mm-hmm. I was like, yeah, gas is expensive.
Yeah, bro. That's
everything.
Food, yeah. I spend about $1 every time I go to the store.
Wow.
I mean, I have a family of 6, so I'm buying groceries and stuff like that. I gotta go to Costco, and I'm not buying the tchotchkes. I'm not buying like towels or whatever. I'm getting actual food, and it's almost $1 every single time, bro. Twice a month on food, So I'm lucky that I'm in a job where, my last job I made $50K, a year,
mm-hmm.
and when I got into real estate last year, I made like a lot more money than that, and I'm lucky that I was in that situation. But it sucks, dude. Like to see, like I think we're blessed that we don't have to worry about like the gas, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, like I don't really ever look at it. I just know I have to fill it up to get where I need to go.
Yeah.
I mean, there's people that are check to check, bro. Like, you know what I mean?
It's tough.
Yeah.
And I just use gas as an example because that was the first thing, but so many other things like necessities like food, mm-hmm. right? Clothes, just everything in general is just going up. Utilities.
Insurance. Hey, have you had issues with insurance lately? Any problems with anything?
Knock on wood. I've been actually lucky. Yeah. I haven't had any issues yet. I've seen it be a little bit higher, but not with the whole like, oh, we need to find, we can't find insurance for this specific property.
You can find it. It's just you got to pay more for it. You know what I mean?
It wasn't that much more expensive.
It's good.
Yeah, luckily.
But you do a lot of deals out here in the San Fernando Valley, right?
Bro, believe it or not, no.
No, okay. Where are you kind of?
Santa Clarita,
okay.
Palmdale, and I've done a few in Riverside, but I can't remember the last time where I've actually done a deal here in San
Okay.
Fernando Valley. I work with people here in the valley, but people don't necessarily buy here.
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone in the valley buys an AV.
And also out in LA.
Yeah. Yeah. They go
Yeah.
the other directions.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's wild. The insurance thing is kind of interesting. Um, I haven't, knock on wood, had any issues just yet. Kind of hard to find places, but I mean, there are a couple places that are still doing it, and the California plan is like, it works. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
it just takes long, man. Everything in LA County just takes forever, bro.
Yeah.
I think like I knew about it going in, and I'm very proactive, so I knew the minute I opened escrow, I'm like, hey, buyer, like you absolutely need to get that quote now. Like, don't do anything else. Like, get that set up now because
Yeah.
you just never know.
So that's actually what I do in the beginning. When I first got started, that was how I was taught, was to first day offer accepted, just order the insurance. Even before this whole thing,
Oh, good.
the insurance was like an issue. Just order it first day. Like it's gonna take about, in worst case scenario at that time, like worst case scenario, like let's just say within a week. Like
Yeah.
you already know you're gonna need it, so why procrastinate on it?
Yeah.
So that's one of the first things I do. So. But yeah, but since we're on the insurance topic, it has to do with real estate, kind of, not in our area, but what are your thoughts with I don't know if you heard, but what's going on with Maui and the whole insurance claims and
I don't know what's going on with insurance claims, but I've seen a lot of like internet stuff about like investors, like,
yeah,
making pitches out there to people with burnt property or no property. Um, that's kind of predatory, bro. It's wild, giving us a bad name, doing stuff like that. I mean, I get it, I guess they think they see an opportunity.
yeah,
But I'm hearing a lot of mixed things coming out of Maui. Like I've heard, don't come to Maui right now because it's disrespectful. Like these people just lost everything. But then I'm also hearing, come to Maui right now because like the economy completely stopped because no one's coming. So like it's hard for me to talk about something if I don't know. I'm not there.
yeah.
But I'm not sure what's going on with the insurance. What's going on up there with that? Are people just they're burnt down homes are not?
Oh, the insurance aren't trying to pay.
Yeah, that's wild. I mean,
They're trying to, from what I've read, that they're not trying to pay, even though it's for what they paid for, that's covered. Anything for natural causes, it should cover. But now they're saying, I don't know, something about them removing that from the policy and it's not included anymore. And
there's a lot of lawsuits coming out there. Then
Yeah.
I would assume there's a predatory lawyer who's gonna go out there and just kind of help those people out in some way, because if there's I mean, insurance, home warranty, like all that kind of stuff, dude. I mean, it's great that you have it, but it's a jacked up system that we have to like jump through hoops to kind of get what they promise you.
Yeah. So it's tough. And then again, with the whole developers situation, like I see both sides. Like for residents living in Maui, like I could see how it's very disrespectful to try to claim a property, but at the same time, like nothing's moving. It's almost like COVID where no one knew what to do. Like everyone kind of froze. Like, do we go out and buy food? Do we stay home? What do we do? And I feel like in order to keep the economy flowing, like you need to have some sort of movement with goods and services.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's been what, like 5 days?
Yeah.
Like it's like it just happened,
Yeah.
Either way, I mean, I don't know what's really going on out there, but I do think like it is in bad taste to, if you're if you got money and you're like, hey, your entire property just burned down, it's worth nothing now, let me give you like $100,000 for the rights to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's pretty jacked up, but there's gonna be people who are down on their luck or feel like they lost everything, and they're gonna take that. And I mean, I don't know much about that area, but I feel like that's like sacred area. Families grew up there, and it's just like it's.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Have you been?
Not to Maui. I've been to Kauai, not Kauai. I've been to like Waikiki, North Shore, like that island, Oahu, but I haven't been to Maui.
Yeah, I've been when I was younger, but not older. I wish I could have. I feel like it's going to take 10 years to kind of regrow everything.
Is it? Damn, that's
No,
crazy.
I'm not saying. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
'Cause,
It's wild. I mean, I don't know if they've ever had a fire like that.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, so I mean, I hope everyone's safe. But anyways, I wanted to ask you. You've been doing a good. You've been doing really good with marketing, and you said you had this vision. What is the end? What is the long term goal, or what is the vision that you see for yourself look like?
Yeah, I mean, I want to be the number one guy, right? Like I want. There's a couple of players in Santa Clarita who are like they've been in the business like 30 years. Um, Maybe you don't think of them when you think of Santa Clarita real estate, but
Yeah,
you definitely like if you're in the business, you know who they are, right? That's the Neil Weichels of the world. I don't know if you're familiar. That's the the Craig Martins of the like these guys just they have a big presence out there,
yeah,
and I want to beat them.
yeah.
Be
There's
straight
nothing
up,
wrong.
you know
There's
what I'm saying?
nothing
Like
wrong with
I
that.
want to beat them. Like there's a guy Craig Martin, major respect to him. I don't think I've ever met him before. He has a huge team, but he has billboards all throughout my city, like everywhere, right? Shopping carts, TV commercials, right? Marketing, like I don't know how the dude does it, but he does it, right? And it's like, I see you, bro. Chest moves. I'm coming for it. I'm coming for it. So it's just things like that. Like I'm motivated by the competition of it. I think competition's healthy. I know I'm light years away from that.
Yeah.
2 years into this business. But I do think that like the writing is on the wall, and if you're following what I'm doing, and you're part of like what we're doing out there, you can definitely see the waves that we're making.
Yeah,
And trust me, man, I'm far from it. Like I'm, the amount of transactions that I've done is paltry compared to like my presence, but I'm also 2 years in, so it's a long
Yeah.
game. You know what I mean? It's the high school students who know me. Like, trust me, I go anywhere in Santa Clarita, people recognize me because of some of the social media stuff we do and some of the affiliations that I have out there. But a lot of them are younger, and it's
Yeah.
just like, okay, 10 years, 5 years, you're gonna buy property and I'll be there for you, So it's just kind of building that long game. It's the farming aspect again. It's
Yeah.
just digital farming, planting the seed. But the time will come, man, and we'll clean up out there.
So you say you want to beat them. What does that look like? Is it in volume, in team size, or how would you
Volume.
Volume.
Yeah, I'm not even thinking about teams at the moment. I think that on a local level, I'm competing with them.
Really?
Yeah, like in terms of branding,
Okay.
which is a weird thing to like. Let's say they close 150 transactions a year. I'm closing 18, 25, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
right in that range, right? For a first year agent, second year agent, I'm far away from there, but on the branding level, I think I don't know, man. I don't want to be like cocky, but I don't know if anyone's doing it the way that I'm doing it outside of maybe Craig Martin,
Yeah.
because he has money spent into the billboards and things like that.
Why doesn't a team not? Why are you saying that team doesn't look like it's part of your vision?
It doesn't appeal to me right now just because the pie's not big enough to split,
Got it.
If
If you had more transactions, would you say it was time?
Yeah. So this summer, like we went from 2 to 3 a month to like leading up to this month. It's slowed down considerably, like going into August.
Yeah.
But like May, June, July, and before that, we were doing like 4 transactions a month, pretty steady, right?
Yeah.
And it was like going into the summer, it was like, damn, I was not able to service everybody. There's only 2 weekends. The 2 days on a weekend, and people want to tour properties on those weekends. So, I would do like 4 hours in Valencia touring, and then I'd have to rush to like AV and do 4 hours up there showing property, and then Sunday the same thing, right? And if I have 4 clients that are buying at that time, that worked. But when I got that 5th client in the hopper or listing during that window, it was like, damn, I can't divide myself up. So at that point in time, it was like, okay, let's bring in somebody to help, an assistant, maybe an open house assistant, a new agent. But then it slowed down, and I was like, I'm glad I didn't pull the trigger on that, because I wouldn't be able to sustain like paying them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Unless it was like a transactional deal. But I want to avoid transaction deals, because if I do develop a team, because that's just like a very easy way for people to be disgruntled. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like every horror story I've ever seen in real estate is like, I joined a team, they take 50%, they were giving me leads, but I bring people to the table and they're still taking 50%. So F those guys, like,
Yeah.
and that's like consistent. Like you hear that all the time, and so I'd much rather have like somebody on payroll, You know what I mean? And do it that way. But I don't know. I mean, I'm not there. I haven't really thought through it. Maybe next year.
I only brought that up because you're saying like the branding was there with the other agent, and you're getting that momentum.
Branding's not giving you money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's giving you recognition though. But I'm saying that if the momentum is continuing, like you said it was, I just wanted to know if that was going to be something part of the future or not at all, or you just.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
thinking about bringing a Spanish speaker onto the team. If that were the case, it'd be a Spanish speaker. I hate saying this on camera, but it'd probably be a female to kind of offset. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, just somebody who can kind of take the clients that maybe don't gravitate towards me.
Yeah.
Just fill the void that way.
No, for sure. Has the conversation of, since you and your wife already work together, I know she's working at the transaction coordinator side, has the conversation of, hey, maybe you should get your license? And
She's licensed.
oh, okay.
Yeah, she's a licensed real estate agent. Yeah.
And have you guys had that conversation like, hey, like maybe you could help me here and there? Or
No, see, my wife is high volume, like 45,
Whoa.
50 transactions a month. She's good, bro. She's killing it. So
does she have an assistant?
she's about at that point. Yeah,
Because that's a lot.
it's a lot, but I mean, she's automated, man. She's all just strict. It's just timelines and making sure things. The thing that takes a lot of her time is the talkative agents, which I'm sure you've dealt with a lot of times.
Yeah.
I don't know why, bro, but like that's why I like doing the podcast, because then I could talk. But like,
Yeah.
I'm on the other end sometimes hearing my wife talk, and agents talk. They want to complain about everything, dude. Everything. Like, I know you guys don't care that much, man. Like, you don't care about the problem that we're having with the client. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe you do a little bit. Maybe you want a little bit of the cheese, man. But like at the end of the day,
But not the whole pie.
yeah. So I think that's the biggest time killer, is that like, agents think agents feel, okay, I know this because that's how I feel. Like, we feed a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like we divvy up the pie to, title, and we bring a lot of deals to you guys, but you also bring value back and give us deals too. But it's just like we divide things up, and some agents get a little big headed and they just think everyone wants to be their friend, and it's, yeah. So to answer the question about my wife, no, because she has high volume, she makes a lot of money, she does her thing, and she's killing it in her business. She's about to expand.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Is she entering like other markets as well, or just kind of Santa Clarita, San Fernando Valley?
Yes, SCV. I mean, she just works with the agents. So like, she has a lot of agents at Park Regency,
Okay.
a lot of agents here at Century 21, just random offices. But she doesn't take on new business unless it's like a highly reputable referral.
Why is that? Because she doesn't want to deal with.
Bad agents, to say. Yeah, I mean, there's some agents that it's a lot more of a headache than it is.
Yeah.
It's not worth the paycheck. A lot of us can make small things very, very dramatic.
Yeah.
A lot of us, bro. You know it. I know it. I've been on opposite ends of deals where it's like, why are you freaking out right now? Like, let's just solve the problem,
Yeah.
But so for her, man, when we were talking about her business all crazy. But like,
sorry.
Yeah, but like for her, it's like, it just makes more sense to work with people who are high volume, like they're producers.
Yeah.
And they know what they're doing, and they're not like drama. Right?
Yeah. It
So-
could drain you.
Dude, she's cut agents. Like, this is not working out. And it's just like it's just better for her, like.
Yeah. Especially when she's been, how long has she been in the business?
I don't even know, like 6-7 years probably.
Yeah. If you've been in business that long and you have that good reputation, you're killing it,
Yeah.
right? If you're high volume, like 40 a month, that's a lot.
Well, what happens is when she does deals, let's say she's my TC, I'm on the buyer side, the listing agent is
Should
like,
try to get the listing.
yeah, the listing agent's like, no, she doesn't try to do anything. She doesn't solicit, she doesn't market.
I know.
It's just referral, word of mouth.
Okay.
But the listing agents, or basically the agent on the other side of the deal that she's working, they regularly will message her or call her after the deal or during the deal and say, hey, how much do you charge? What do you do? The crazy part about, never mind, I don't want to talk about that. Just like, it's just people reach out to her, and she sometimes will say no, 'cause she doesn't know them. Right. But if it's like an agent that she likes, that's a good agent, and that agent says, you need to work with this guy because he's also a good agent, she'll take that referral.
Got it.
Yeah.
So they have to be vetted by the person she already knows and trusts.
Yeah. Way to sum that up, bro. Appreciate that.
For the clients watching, how can you, Alex Hollander, bring value to the clients here in your community, Santa Clarita Valley,
Yeah.
or any client that's looking outside of Santa Clarita Valley?
Yeah. I mean, I like to say that I do things differently. I think we all will say that, but I really do want to celebrate the client. So if you're a
Yeah.
first-time buyer, just a buyer in general buying a house, we make a big deal about you because it's about you as the client. Like it's not about me, it's not about the lender, it's you, it's your money, it's your house. So one, we'll never push you into something you don't want, and then two, we go to extra lengths to make sure that you get what you need to get and you get the best possible deal, whether that means like the tough negotiations, fighting for more money, whatever it is. Like we'll do what we have to do to kind of get. I don't have any shame about like stepping up to the plate and doing the hard work, right?
Yeah.
But on the flip side of that, and I think a lot of people do like using me because of this, is we document your journey. So like quinceañeras and weddings, you want that documented. It's a big moment. Well, buying a house is a huge moment too, man. And to have a dope video and the whole process there, and just like a lot invested into that, is kind of cool. And that's something that we do for all of our clients. And I do make a lot of friends with my clients. Once we close one, the next one we throw parties for our clients after they close. Make
Yeah.
sure we invite all their friends and family and just really celebrate them because it's a big moment, bro. Like it's probably the biggest moment outside of getting married or having a kid.
Yeah.
Like that's the pecking order that what we do is on that level. Getting married, having kid, buying a house. That's like dreams that we're helping,
Yeah.
So that's cool for me, and I'm very passionate about that, and I think that translates to my clients. And then on the listing side, I mean, I bar none, I don't know if anybody that markets the way we do, and I mean, it's easy to sell a house at the end of the day right now. You get a listing, you put it on the market, as long as it's priced well, it's going to sell. But it's the little things, the fight for making sure they're not taking advantage of you on the buyer side. The things that I would do for the buyer, I know how to stop that for the seller.
Right.
So those are just the things that we do.
You do staging for your clients?
Absolutely, we'll do staging, bro. We have a full package, so and it's no extra fee. If your house needs staging, we'll do staging. We have a decluttering system, so like if you have a lot of junk that needs to get tossed or whatever, we handle that for you. We have a landscaper. We'll do some like repairs, painting, things of that nature. Really prep your house for you to kind of get you there. We even have a program where if your house is in tough shape and you feel like damn, I don't know if I even can sell this house,
Yeah.
we'll buy your house for you. And we'll buy it for you. We'll put some money into it, and we'll once we buy your house and then we sell your house, the balance difference, we pay you on the back end for that too. So we have a couple options for people. The other thing that we have that's really cool too, it's like a lot of people are using it right now, is I have an awesome relocation program, and it's like no strings attached. It's very simple. If you're gonna move out of California, which a lot of people are doing,
Mm-hmm.
we'll sell your house in California. We'll connect you with the realtor wherever you're going, Alabama, Tennessee, Texas, Florida, whatever, right? We'll connect you with that realtor and have that realtor help you buy your house over there, and then we pay your moving costs. So your moving trucks, I mean, I had a client move from Santa Clarita to Connecticut. It was $8,000
Whoa.
just for the truck to be filled up and sent over there. So things like that we help with and take care of in our program.
And you covered that.
We covered that, yeah.
Oh, wow.
I just had somebody last month sold in Santa Clarita, moved to Texas, and it was I think their moving fee was like $3,000. It was a little cheaper, smaller truck, but we gave them $4,000 to kind of like almost $5,000 to cover everything with his move. And the way we do that is just for full transparency. It's not just money out of nowhere. When I connect you with the realtor in the other area, that realtor is giving me a referral fee, and I'm literally just transferring that to them in their escrow. So you're getting it in escrow, and you can use it however you want, but we say you're using it for like moving or whatever.
Right. That's smart.
Yeah.
That's cool. And then I'm sure you've gotten a lot of thank yous, and they're very appreciative because $8,000, that's a lot.
That particular, they're not always $8,000.
Yeah.
It just depends on what they're buying, because it's basically what I'm getting is a percentage of whatever the agent on the other end is getting, right?
Got it.
So that one, they were just buying a bigger house, basically. Yeah. That's why the Texas house, it was almost $5,000. So it was considerable difference.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, What's something we're about to wrap this up soon, but what's something that you feel like is important that the client should know when buying that home or starting the process or even thinking about it? Maybe they're not ready right now.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think that they should all know?
Yeah. So if you're thinking about buying, you're not ready, have a game plan.
Yeah.
It's super key. Talk to a lender, talk to the realtor, make sure they're working together. A lot of times we walk into situations where the lender and the realtor are not working together, and it's like it makes it tough.
Yeah.
But if you're a realtor and your lender on the same page, working towards the same goal, it's going to make your life so much easier. And even if you're 2 years out, a year out, whatever, talk to the lender, because the lender is going to look at your financials and it's going to say, you know what? Instead of paying this off, pay that off. It's going to make more of an impact.
100%.
And I think a lot of people are scared to talk to the lender.
I don't know why.
It's a financial thing. They don't want their credit ran. They don't want this, that,
No, I mean, I get that aspect, but I mean, at the end of the day, we're just here to help you. We're not here to judge. I feel like a lot of people think we judge. We're not here to judge. It's more of to come up with the game plan. Like Alex said, like if it's not a year from now, if it's not right now, or if it's a year from now, 2 years, or even 5 years, like let's have a game plan. Let's see what your goals are, and let's try to set you up for success when that time does come.
Yeah. But I will say, if we set you up with the game plan, 3 years later, don't use your cousin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
100%. Cool.
Sweet, man. I appreciate you coming out here and doing this.
No,
Awesome.
I appreciate you.
Sweet, bro.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cool.